What is up, you guys? I'm Charmx, and today I'm gonna be reacting to what my trip to Japan was like by Jaiden Animations. I freaking love Jaiden Animations. Hopefully this will be awesome. I did not know Jaiden Animations went to Japan. Was this like recently or like a while ago, and now you're making a video of it? I don't know. Anyway, she's very lucky. But with that being said, the original link's in the description. Make sure you guys go subscribe to Jaiden Animations. Without any further ado, let's begin.
In October, I went on the first vacation I've been on with my family
October. That was like a couple months ago.
In years. My dad works super hard all the time, so normally it would be either my brother, mom, and me, or just me and my mom, and even those vacations became pretty sparse. It's been over 10 years since we've all had a family vacation.
Wow, 10 years. Then again, I guess for me, since I went on vacation, it's been like 6 years, I think, since I went on vacation. Something like that. It's been a very long time.
And all of a sudden we have a week to be squished together in a foreign country. So how'd this one go? Day one. We arrived at the Tokyo airport after a nice and easy 11-hour flight. And
oh my goodness.
wow, I can't believe we finally made it. We've been planning and looking forward to this trip for almost a year, and it's finally happening. How do we get out of here? We walked around the airport for 2 hours trying to figure out what we had to do, which train we had to get. We lost Dad for like half an hour in the sea of Asians. I'd already expected the worst and thought he was dead, but no worries, turns out he wasn't taken out by the Japanese mafia.
Hooray! Hey, you're really lucky you got to go to Japan. I mean, it's not necessarily where I would want to go. I mean, I would really want to go to like the Netherlands kind of area around there, or like Sweden, where it's just so nice. It's just so nice to look at. Like on a computer screen, you got like these crazy pictures from over there, and that's where I want to go. Japan's not really one of them, but I mean, nonetheless, if you wanted to go there and you actually got to finally go, you're still really lucky.
My mom had to get train tickets and he had to take care of the luggage, so we split up and planned to meet at a ticket counter, but little did—
bad idea.
There were two of them on opposite ends of the floor, and as the stereotype goes, they looked exactly the same. So my parents were just grumbling and waiting for each other to show up at the opposite ticket stand with no method of communication because we didn't have Wi-Fi yet. After figuring that out and getting to the Tokyo station, we had to use the subway to get to our hotel. None of us grew up in the city, and using the subway was new to us, so we had to look at the train station map to see what to do.
They should have hired a guide to help them get around.
And is this the Windows 98 pipe screensaver? What is this? Props to—
that it does look like that. It does look like that.
People who use the Metro daily, or even just know how to figure that stuff out, because that's like a whole Bill Gates secret code, and the consequence of making a mistake is paying to be plopped in an area you never wanted to be at in the first place. We didn't even know how to start reading the map, so my dad resorted to the only logical option. Do you speak English? Do you speak English? Konnichiwa.
You had your phones with you, didn't you? I mean, you didn't have Wi-Fi, but did you have like the translator app where you can talk into and it'll say it in whatever language you want? I think that would have been really useful. So I'm pretty sure they have that as an application.
Please, help us.
英語話せるわけねえじゃねえか、外人のバカ。迷子になれ。
A good 90% of the time we were lost and not knowing where to go, so my dad would keep walking up to random Japanese people and trying to communicate with them in English, even though we were in a country that doesn't speak English.
Now, this is a little suggestion. Did your dad, did he try to slow his words down so they could understand? You always see that in movies, right? Just speak slower. They'll understand.
And when they obviously wouldn't understand, he would just try to say it all again, but slower. Like that was gonna make a difference. But we found a guy—
yeah, he did it. He did
named
it.
Paul, who helped us out. Thank you, Paul. Konnichiwa. Japan is super different from the States. I didn't really know what to expect, but my mom and I were super hyped after experiencing and learning about the culture. Dad and Jax, not so much, but they like the food. So here's what happened. First morning.
I think the food would be one big problem I would have with Japan, just from like the raw fish, like sushi in general, because raw fish, it can contain parasites, and then you get them in your gut, and then you gotta go to the doctors and get like pills to get rid of them or whatever. And that's like, oh my goodness. I just hate the idea of having a parasite in me.
Woke up early to do a Tokyo bus tour. This time, after our best friend Paul taught us the ropes, we were experts at navigating the subway. We got on the wrong train. We stopped at a cafe for breakfast, and it was at that point where I realized I wasn't going to be able to use the image translation app I downloaded to try and make communication easier while we were there. It would have been super awesome to just hover the camera over the Japanese
Wait, so you actually have one of the apps that kind of translates for you. Not voice, which is something you really needed, but images. But it doesn't work?
Symbols and have the phone immediately be like, hey, this is what this says. But it wasn't working the way I thought it would. I don't speak Japanese, but I'm pretty sure they weren't selling a surprised egg topped with the first time in fabric. This wife. I don't think that's a thing. Who married an egg and why is she so surprised?
If you married an egg, everyone would be surprised.
The tour was fun. We went to a forest with some shrines, saw some sumo wrestlers, went up the Tokyo Tower. Pretty cool Asian stuff. Second day, we walked on Japan's big famous crosswalk that looks like the B-movie's traffic system. Pressed F for the dog that waited 9 years for his dead owner to return from the train station. I love you, Hachiko. Went to a hedgehog cafe. Got on the wrong train.
Hedgehog cafe? Say what? I want to go to one of those. I forget. I love hedgehogs. They're so adorable.
Mega Donuki! Spent way too much money at the Pokemon Center. Won nothing at a big arcade. And then collapsed into bed. I should probably slow things down a bit so you can really take in. Day whatever! Wrong train! Rice triangles! Tiny banana snack! My brother said it tasted weird. Walking tour! Oh god, my legs hurt! More noodles! Went to sleep. We had
It seems like you're having a fun time. I mean, sure, the only issue it really sounds like is just communication and travel, getting to places. But you're still getting to do, like, stuff that you would want to do, right? It's not like you're just having a horrible time altogether. So it seems like you had a good time.
another bus tour around Kyoto, and one of the stops was this 1,000 golden statues temple that was really cool, and we learned about a bunch of gods. One of which I, a Pokemon master, already recognized since it was the inspiration behind Thundurus.
That was a good meme. Well done.
Another one of the stops on the bus tour was this temple called Kiyomizu-dera. And there's a whole backstory to this place where some people would do this thing called taking the plunge, which was seen as a bold and desperate, extreme wish-making act. So it's
Oh. I was gonna say, you know, whenever I take the plunge, it always ends up in the toilet. What a stupid joke. My goodness, what's wrong with me?
simple. What you do is jump off the 43-foot temple balcony and not die. That's literally it. I'm not joking. In the Edo period, people believed that if they put their lives in the hands of Kannon, the god of mercy, you'd be granted a wish, given you don't die, because he doesn't give wishes to corpses. During that time,
Is that an actual thing? People would jump off of this 40 feet or 40-story tall building or whatever? Do people still do that to this day?
200 people jumped, and 85% of them survived, which I'd say is actually a pretty good ratio.
85% of the people survived? That's actually insanely high.
One woman apparently even jumped twice. Hey, my wish didn't come true. Well, I guess I jump again. Well, they don't let you do that anymore, which I think is fair, I guess.
Oh, they don't let you do that. This is so sad. Maybe that's a good thing.
Anyway, that wasn't even where I was going with that place. There's this little shrine area at the foot of the temple with 3 waterfalls, each representing either longer life, wisdom, or love. And if you drink from one of them, it's believed that you'd be granted that particular category in life.
If there was a category for idiot, Charmx would have drank from it.
But you only get 1 drink. Thirsty hoe. So I go up there with my long cup on a stick you get, and was watching what everyone else was doing. They would get the water in the cup, wash one hand at a time, then pour some water into one hand to drink from, and let the rest drip into the pool below. Anyway, cutting to the chase, basically, you're in the presence of some pretty intense wisdom right now. Also, there wasn't any place to dry your hands afterwards, so I got wisdom water all over my pants. After that, we
Did you end up going to the temple that Logan Paul went to and was like throwing cash into something, wishing for lots of hoes or whatever?
saw the 1,000 red gates. You're allowed to walk under them, but apparently it takes like 3 hours to get through them all, and we didn't have that time, so we walked under like 10 and called it a day. After waking up with some French toast that was lightly dusted with a pound of sugar, my mom and I went to the Studio Ghibli Museum. I can't express how incredible that place was. I would recommend it to anyone who has an appreciation for Ghibli, or animation, or art,
Does hentai count?
or anything. I'd show you how mesmerizing it is in there, but there's no filming or photos allowed inside, so no spoilers here. I'm a child of the law. But I did snag this picture of the kids' play area because I thought it was adorable.
Aww.
Sometimes you just gotta break the rules when it's important, okay? We went to a convention.
You could just snag photos from Google though, right? Like I'm pretty sure if you were to look up images of Ghibli Museum or whatever, you'd get a result and it would be the same thing, right? Someone else would have taken the pictures.
Conveyor belt sushi place, and Mom had never been to one before, so she got overwhelmed and just immediately grabbed like 5 random things. I've been to one once before, but my skills aren't anywhere near coordinated. So when I tried to put the wasabi bowl back, I ended up clogging a bunch of plates and ruining a section of the sushi harmony and just being really obnoxious, and I felt really bad. The next day we all
Just act as if it didn't happen, and no one will know it was you. Yeah, but like what I was saying regarding sushi, that's why I don't think I could eat much in Japan, because I know a lot of what they have is sushi, right? But I don't like the idea of eating raw meat. Like that's a no-no.
almost got on the wrong train. The wisdom juice is kicking in. We went to this famous Sega arcade with 8 floors. That was immensely intimidating. You know how you go to an arcade and there's always some Asian kid who's an absolute god at a game, and there's a little crowd watching because it's so mesmerizing and we're all pathetic? This is their hive. Car racing, combat games, even the children were getting spit out the womb playing like monks. Look at this guy. I don't know what
I love the facial expressions they have.
game this is or the objective here, but the aura
That's a game?
around him is screaming, "Leave here and never come back, unworthy rat." We were also introduced
That's cool.
to this dance game I've never seen before called Dance Rush Stardom. It's like DDR, but with less arrows and 100% more late 90s Melbourne shuffling. My brother and I tried to play it, and it felt like the whole country was like, oh god, why are they here? They
It seems easier than DDR. Or it just looks easier because you don't have to follow the friggin' arrows. It's just kind of like Guitar Hero, but with your feet. That's what it looks like.
look Asian, but they're white as crackers. But we got a good kick out of it, so you know what, go konnichiwa yourself. Then we left and got on the wrong train. For the last night, we went to this robot show, and let me tell you, this place is insane. So the main attractions of the place are these giant flashy robots and stuff. But I gotta talk about these drinks and light bulbs they were selling. They were crazy with all their
Oh my
blinking
goodness.
colors and such. It was like a little rave in a cup. Like, dude, who comes up with this stuff?
What is this guy doing here in like a big wheel?
Benjamin Franklin wishes he did, I'll tell you that. You got to choose from like 4 drink choices, but most of them were alcohol, so
It's kind of hard to hear what she is saying.
I got this peach juice instead. I'm legally allowed to drink now, but I'm not the biggest fan, and who knows how outrageous the drink would have looked if I was a bit tipsy. Anyway, definitely one of the most insane things I saw there, for sure. Top of the
What is that person doing on like stilts or whatever? Man, I'm just curious on what's going on in the background. I mean, the drink's pretty cool, but what's going on in the background is a whole other story.
list of the entire show. Nothing compares to the little light bulb. Japan was so much fun, and it's become one of my favorite memories with my family. But the thing is, when I started this script, I wanted to briefly mention what we did so I could talk about how much trouble I had getting back home, because that was a whole situation of classic Jaiden I thought you would enjoy.
I could only imagine how bad getting home would be, especially when you can't read the writing or understand them. I think they need to have people working at the airport who are multilingual and can direct people around.
But here I am on page 4 of the script, and I haven't been able to talk about anything. I don't like breaking stories into different parts, but we're not animating a 20-minute video. I'd rather put my hands in the life of canon. Twice. So yeah, see you in a few weeks with that. Hey!
Oh, so you're making another video on how you got home from Japan? I mean, I guess when you're leaving there, everything's not in English. And if you don't speak the language, it could be a problem getting onto the right plane. So I can see how that was a problem, but I mean, overall, it sounds as if you really did enjoy the trip.
Thanks for watching. So a bunch has happened since the last video. YouTube Rewind was posted, so that's cool. And I was in it, so that's cool too. And then it became the most disliked video on YouTube right now. Very cool. I threw in a bunch of memes in my part because I speculated YouTube wasn't gonna do it themselves, and
Hey, she addressed it. She addressed it. Yes, Jaiden, you were probably one of the best parts of YouTube Rewind. Because you included PewDiePie, you included the boxing fight, you included everything.
not to throw shade, but I was right. And people have been enjoying them. A lot. Like, my god, it blew up. People found the majority of them, but I thought I'd tell you the real answers. So everyone got the sub to PewDiePie thing.
Yeah, so did PewDiePie. The boxing fight up here. I forget what someone... Oh wait, Uganda Knuckles right here. I forget what this is. Oh, is this B-word lasagna?
And the Smash letter and the Logan KSI
Smash letter! Wow, I didn't even notice that.
fight. But I also had a book that said Sociopaths 101 on it that was too small for people to see. This little bonsai tree was a little tribute to the famous forest in Japan at the beginning of the
Oh my goodness. Oh, that's clever. That's clever.
Here that someone did an oopsie in. And next to it is a little squirrel, because shout out to my buddy iDubbbz for his squirrel series this year. I just liked it a lot. Everyone thought this was a reference to Felix's lasagna, but when I made it, it was the somebody touching my
Did you just say the bad word, Jaiden?
spaghetti meme, because that and Uganda Knuckles were the January memes of
Oh, that was somebody touch my spaghetti?
2018, but it can be lasagna too, I don't care.
Of course it blew up. Of course it blew up because you were the only person who anticipated YouTube would do what they did. So you snuck some Easter eggs in to make the people happy, and the people were happy. Anyway, I hope you guys liked this video. I enjoyed this a lot. I enjoyed this a lot. I mean, it sounds as if she had a good time. The travel and that was a problem, as she said, but I can see, of course, it would be. Definitely when you don't speak the language. Like, did you take any courses trying to learn how to, you know, just say the basic stuff? If I were to go to some country where I don't know the language, you know, a couple weeks before I would go, I would learn basic phrases that you would need every day, just to help navigate a little bit easier. But anyway, if you guys like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up, possibly share a friend. If you do, subscribe to the family. Also, make sure you guys go subscribe to Jaiden Animations. I'll see you guys next time. Boop!